let's lock in. Who does Jake Paul have the best chance of defeating? Andre Ward, Carl Froch, or Artur Beterbiev? I'm sure by now you've seen these call outs. And if you haven't seen these call outs, well, people have called them out. Artur Beterbiev called out Jake Paul, said he'd give Jake Paul a shot at his undisputed titles. And Carl Froch, of course, he called them out. And things got a little bit ugly on Twitter between these guys. But yeah, people are calling out Jake Paul. And the most recent person to call him out is Andre Ward. Andre Ward said on the Stephen A. Smith show that he's an older guy and he's willing to step in the ring and fight Jake Paul. And in fact, that's the more recent one. So if you haven't seen that, I'll show that one. But yeah, he's been getting called out by the older guard, some of the older fellas. And although Artur Beterbiev is active, he is 40 years old. So he's still one of the older fellas. Let's listen to what Andre Ward said on the Stephen A. Smith show.
I am open for a discussion. And since you like fighting older guys, I'm an older guy now. And I ain't touched the ring in 7 years, so I think it'll be interesting. I am open.
So I'm asking you, out of all the people to call out Jake Paul, Carl Froch, Andre Ward, and Artur Beterbiev, who do you think he would have the best chance of beating? And if he was going to oblige any of these fighters, who do you think it should be? Now, I'll jump in and give you my answer, my take. Andre Ward left the game when people felt like he still had more to give. And his peers who've been in the ring with him, they still feel like sometimes he has more to give. So Andre Ward appears to still be competitive in the gyms when he does train. And recently you saw him sparring Terrence Bud Crawford. Bomac said Bud went easy on him. I don't doubt that. Bud's active. Bud's number one pound for pound right now. And although he's smaller than Andre Ward, he's highly skilled and he's not that much smaller than Andre Ward. So I would believe that he held back a little on Ward because Ward's inactive and he's older. So with that being said, though, he said that it still was good work and that Ward still got some left in the tank. I think Ward would be a very tough fight for Jake Paul to win just off of IQ, knowledge. And, I do think that Ward will end up stopping Jake Paul. So next we'll go to Artur Beterbiev. Listen, I really don't need to talk too much about this. There's no way that Jake Paul's dumb enough to step in the ring with Artur Beterbiev. Artur Beterbiev is the worst one out of all the people we just named because he's the youngest one. He's still active, and he just beat a very talented boxer in Dimitri Bivol. What would he do to a novice beginner? I don't even want to know. There's no way that fight even gets sanctioned. Anyone who sanctions that fight should go immediately to jail. Go to jail. If you sanction that fight, there's no way. It's like the government should step in and shut that down. I don't even believe that fight can get sanctioned, to be honest with you. There's no way that Jake Paul, I know there's a lot of money in it, and I'm saying this, I don't believe these fights are scripted, but I think that they're going to need some assurance that Artur Beterbiev isn't going to knock Jake Paul's head clean out of the ring. They're going to need some assurance of that. So I don't even believe that fight's realistic. Which brings me to Carl Froch. Carl Froch, the Cobra. Andre Ward beat Carl Froch when they fought as professionals, in their prime or relatively close to their prime. So he beat Carl Froch. But Carl Froch is a very good fighter. Carl Froch, scrappy, crafty veteran, good power puncher. I think if there's any one of these guys who Jake should feel like he can beat, it is Carl Froch. But it's fool's gold. I think Carl Froch would stop him. I think Carl Froch would destroy him. I think Carl Froch still has too much left in the tank. And Carl Froch keeps himself in really good shape. If you see Carl Froch, like, he's grayer than he was back in his prime, but minus that, he's still fit. He's still sharp. He's still got his wits about him. He still talks the typical Cobra trash. I don't think that Jake Paul can beat any of these guys, which is why I don't think it's realistic. It was reported that Gilberto Mendoza, the president for the WBA, wants to create a fight between Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. and Jake Paul for a title. So I think that's more feasible. Plus, I don't think Carl Froch has the name recognition in America to generate that much interest from the American public to get, say, a 60 million view type of fight. Andre Ward is more known in America, but still, I don't know if he has that name recognition. It's not like he's Iron Mike Tyson. I do think his name recognition will go further. And plus, he's still undefeated as a professional. So you add that to the mix and you give it that extra spice. I do think that there's some wiggle room for Andre Ward. I don't know if it does 60 million, but I still think it could do some very good numbers, like over 20, 30, maybe even 40 million max. So I think there's some potential for that. Artur Beterbiev would kill this dude. Like, I'll be honest with you, if they ever thought about sanctioning this fight, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to be on Twitter screaming all types of corruption, all types of everything. I'm going to be on Twitter screaming a boycott, although I know I wouldn't boycott it, but I would be very worried for Jake Paul. If Jake saw the final bell in that fight, I'd give him all the kudos, because only one professional fighter who's ever stepped in the ring with Artur Beterbiev has seen the final bell. And we're talking about a skilled master boxer in Dmitry Bivol. Everyone else, including all other champions who do this, like really do this at the highest level, have gotten stopped by Artur Beterbiev. I just see no way that fight gets sanctioned. So with all that being said, I think Carl Froch would be the best opponent for Jake Paul. I think Andre Ward versus Jake Paul is the storyline that can be sold the most. That would probably get the most views. And I don't even think that Artur Beterbiev versus Jake Paul is realistic. I don't think anyone believes that fight would happen. And if that fight did get sanctioned, there is some serious corruption in boxing that we need to talk about. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Please like, share, subscribe. It's Caden. I'm out. Peace.